ready for what was ahead in our schedule.
Well, looking at the scores, it seemed like you were competitive. Okay, I mean, and your defense played well because you kept those teams in the 50s. It just seemed like you know that I'm just reading the schedule and going off, and you can help me out.
Right.
My coaching
Yeah,
experience.
we
Yeah,
started with Long Beach. I'm sorry, uh, Dobson, Arizona, out of Mesa, and they're the team that we ended up playing. Not playing, but they were in our same bracket for our summer schedule that we had for the Section 7 in Phoenix, which is run very similar to the Nike Tournament of Champions. And I just thought when they asked me what bracket do you fit in, I kind of mentioned who the teams were that we played. Well, I did mention Dobson was the winner of our bracket at Section 7. So, of course, I shouldn't be that surprised that they match us up with Dobson the first round of the Nike. So we had a shot at them. We came in, going back to the summer, we came in third in our bracket. So we never had a chance to play Dobson. So first round at the Nike, it was a little special to meet up with them and beat them. And then the second and third round, we met up with some California teams. Quite tough. You've heard the names. Long Beach Poly, they are amazing. Also, Paramount out of California had a really good guard. She reminded me a lot of Bella Hines, just stepping across the half court line and launching threes and making them. We found ourselves in a 9 point deficit immediately. And we ended with a team out of Colorado, Thunder Ridge. And I mean, we're playing against girls that were TT's height and above at least three starters. So we had our challenges early on in that game. And I think we got better as the games moved forward from, the start of the season. So I really think it instilled a lot of toughness and letting the girls know that we can play at that level. And it built up our confidence. We had a lot of team bonding, which was great for any team to have team bonding. So I thought it just helped us get to where we are now.
this preseason, I call it preseason before district starts. The preseason, I guess you would say, but is this one of your toughest schedules you ever put together? Because I just was looking at. You played El Dorado, Oregon Mountain, La Cueva, West Mesa, and those are quality coaches across the state, and then you go to Arizona. This got to be one of your toughest schedules you ever put together?
It is. I agreed to go to the Phoenix tournament prior to knowing our full schedule. I committed to it last year, so we traveled, and I didn't know until we had accepted that we were going to be in the Hobbs tournament as well. So we knew we had a heavy duty schedule ahead of us with the chance of playing the likes of Farmington, and we knew we had Sandia and La Cueva and Aldo. We have to schedule those teams on our every season, because I feel playing great competition just gets you better.
Well, and you stole my thunder on the you went to you went to the Phoenix tournament, then you go to the Hobbs tournament, and you got a bus ride at 5.5, and you get to play Hobbs on their home court. Talk about the experience and talk about what Hobbs does for basketball in the state of New Mexico.
It's a great tournament. The hospitality is amazing. Brenda Wilson, their athletic director, does a great job in organizing and working together with the Chamber of Commerce, and they really treat teams and coaches well. The tournament, and they call it the gold standard there in Hobbs, America, and you can see why it is the gold standard, because it's something amazing, and I think a lot of tournaments are going to start kind of mimicking that. In fact, we just got an invite to the Farmington tournament which kind of seems a little similar since Farmington has been going to the Hobbs tournament for a few years now, and they're going to have I believe it's going to be their first year that they host a tournament next year, and we've already committed to that one because I like playing teams from Arizona and Colorado, all of which are going to attend that tournament.
Well, I got a Hobbs story that goes back when I was coaching at Sandia. Every year I would go watch the Clovis tournament, and it was a Cal Classic tournament. I think it was Cal Milk.
Cowbell.
Yeah, in Clovis, and then I go to Hobbs first day and spend the night, and then go over to Clovis because I grew up in Clovis and I'd watch the championship game in Clovis. But my first time ever as a coach, and my record at Hobbs is not very good. So, for my career, it's 0-6. Okay, or actually, I was 0-6, played 6 times in district. Actually, probably 0-8, and I had career games against Hobbs. I never speak about it, but I got to talk about it. I'm getting to the punchline here on this, but I'd have career games against Hobbs, and then I'd look at the scoreboard and we'd be down 40. Okay, and it was like, what do you do? And I'm like, and I'm talking career games. I mean, I probably averaged like 30-something points against Hobbs. Okay, and it was in my 3 years of playing against them, and I'd look up and seriously it'd be 130 to 100, it'd be 140 to 110, or just, and that I was like, what? I couldn't even feel bad about the game, and I was like, how I couldn't play any better, couldn't do it. Our team couldn't play any better, and that's how good Tasker and everything was. And on the girls' side, that's what this coach has done right now. It seems like they're on that same
flip-flopped.
Just flip-flop with that. But my story is, so I go in and it was the afternoon game, and it's like probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's nobody in the gym. I mean, I'm telling you, just very few, maybe a few parents of the opposing teams or anything, and that came in, and I go sit down, and there's seats everywhere, just seats everywhere. There's 4 people, they're older. They come walking in, and I'm sitting right at the top where the 6-man. There's a little 6-man. I don't know if you saw it or not. It says 6-man, and
yes,
it's the top row. And I'm sitting there with my back against the wall and just watching games that teams we're going to be playing. And these people, out of my eye, they came up and they're looking at me, and they keep walking up the bleachers, coming up, and they go, "Hey, would you mind moving?" And I'm like, sitting there to myself, why would I have to move? But I'm just sitting there. I'm by myself, and I go, not to be disrespectful, but can I ask why there's nobody in the gym, and why? And they go, well, we've been the 6-man. See that sign right there? That's where I learned that there's a sign. 6-man. We've been a 6-man for like 45 years. We're season ticket holders. We only sit in this section of the gym. So, what a classic that was.
Yes, that atmosphere is amazing, and like you said, it's very easy to fall behind without even knowing how quick it happened. It's a legendary arena, and to have the chance to take your team and see all the history and just know what Hobbs is about, it was a great experience for us to go to that as well.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to go to the top 10 plays of the week, and Evergard Roofing and Solar top 10 plays of the week, and come back and talk about the Metro tournament.
Here's Maldonado for three.
Corner. Gatto drive baseline. This time he will take it to the rack.
He's so confident when he takes it to the basket.
On the board for her, 34-54. Behind the back dribble for Sosi, and Sosi buries the ball. Allison Sosi.
There's the Quan.
Still nothing. It's perimeter-oriented, pass around. But
Quan fires the three and gets another one.
Great. The basket will count for Junior Hogs, and he's fouled. Fouls on Juarez.
Great finish by Moore right there.
With it. Kicks it over to Jennings for a three. Oh, Santana! Calls bank off the window.
Has been stuck on 14 the last couple possessions. There's Chloe Brown, a right corner three. It's short. Randall, the offensive rebound. Counted and a foul for Nadia Randall.
Thought about it, puts it on the court, pulls up, gives it to Brown. What is this? Oh, my goodness.
Sanchez has the third one, so he's got two of those. Quick steal, and there's the basket to close out the quarter as Brandon Lopez with a big steal.
Question a little bit, and you got me thinking about it. You know, look at here.
Tipped away by Owino. Big smooth, big jam. Big time finish.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest Lisa Villareal. Winners again of 2024 Metro Championships on the women's side, girls side. But I got to finish one more story with Hobbs of Fordale, and that's you talk about tradition. It's probably the only place in the state where the teams sit behind the bench. Talk about that and how that affects you. Coming in there.
Yeah, having your team at the far, the baseline on each side, it really poses, some challenges when you're trying to communicate with your team across the floor. And that's one thing that, the coaching box, you're kind of confused whether you need to just stay under the basket with your team where you're at, or if you can extend all the way to the sideline, which those are probably questions I needed to ask. Like you said, the atmosphere is so great that you're taking it all in and you kind of forget some things.
Well, and the memory I have is the players, they got to run by the six man, and the six man, they do their homework on the players, they do the homework on the thing, and they're talking to them the whole time that they're running to go to the sidelines, and that's that's just something you have to be mentally ready to tell your players. Please ignore the fans in the stands and just try to stay focused of what I'm trying to tell you when you go in the game.
Yes, I did give them that warning because I believe the last time I was at Hobbs with the team was in about 2015 when I had Raven, Herrera, and Deja Battle on that squad. They got the heckling really bad. I didn't hear it quite so much this time, but I mean, the gym was so loud. I'm not near the sixth man, so I didn't quite hear. The girls didn't mention anything to me. I'm sure they heard it though, because like you said, it's just tradition and you got to take it for what it's worth and have fun with it. And the one thing I told my girls, just don't engage.
Well, you've got the other thing that, and I'm just going back my memory because Hob was so fond to me, is this, the band. And then they always had little groups of kids warming up before the game. Do they do that with on the girls' side too?
They still do. And boy, do they have a lot of little girls just ready to step in that program and be a part of something great that they have there. The band, who can walk away not thinking of that tune that they have?
No, you learned it, right? You got it. It's in your mind. The first time when I came in as a sophomore, like when I came in as a sophomore, it bugged me. But then, the next time, I think we played them in the district championship 3 times, but we were second place over the time I was there. And so basically we played them 3 times. Mm-hmm. We always played them in the district championship again. So by the time you were all excited because it was like that first time. I'll never forget that sophomore year. I was like really intimidated. It was a very intimidating for me to come in. But if you go there every year, it like when Roy Sanchez was in their district, he got used to it and it didn't intimidate me. He said the first year when he went down there, my players weren't used to the fans, them running down there.
Yes.
Then they accepted, and it was just, it's called mental toughness being playing on the road. But it was a great.
Right.
It's hard to explain unless you're there, that experience.
Exactly. And that band, with all their little tunes, they have their cheerleaders in sync with them. And it just is a different atmosphere out there. And I'm just glad my girls were able to go and be a part of it.
And so back to the players on the box. And so a friend of ours, Randy Adrian, from Clovis, the guy I played basketball with, and still great friends with. He was a ref, a great ref, and he's in Lovington, and he's coaching against Lovington, and Hobbs is playing, and Tasker's there, and basically Tasker's on the dance, gets out of his box. Randy goes over, gives him a warning, and says, "Look, you can't be in the box." And Randy, because Tasker was so mild spoken and so easy spoken with the refs and everything, and really most of the time, and these are stories I've heard of the deal, when he got a technical, he just would ask the refs to give him a technical, and he'd be yelling and screaming and stuff, like not even talking about it. They just say, "Give me a ref, let me act like I'm putting on a show here," and because I gotta get my guys fired up, and that's how he would talk to them. I need a ref. I need a technical right now. So whatever I gotta say, just tell me what to say, and I'll just give me a technical. So anyway, Randy comes over and says, "Hey man, you've been out of the box. I've warned you." And the other coach is on me for you being out of the box, and basically I got to give you technical. And he goes, "Randy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I was in the box, and out of the box, and But you got to remember, I'm from Hobbs, and we don't have a box down in Hobbs, and I can walk wherever I want to. So anyway, that's the legendary of Hobbs, and I'm sure the women's coach has that same freedom too.
Oh, I'm sure it happens there all the time.
Well, coming into the Metro tournament, what was your feelings of the Metro tournament? With this is the second year that outside teams are coming in, and one is Hobbs, and I'll be one of those guys thinking that Hobbs is going to be in the finals. Okay, I just thought that they were going to come in and they win their tournament. They're coming in with a lot of expectations for the state, but it didn't work out that way. So, talk about your side of the bracket and talk about how you got to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody expected the teams that were playing in the finals. I think everybody expected those teams to play each other, just not for the places. I think people might have assumed us and La Cueva would meet up for third place and Hobbs and Sandia would meet up for first. It didn't end up that way, which, I'm happy about. Looking at our side of the bracket, I knew we're going to have a tough road when you see the likes of Gallup on your side, along with Sandia. You have a tough road to get to the championship. And every night, it was so nice to see my girls put so much defensive pressure that they made me so proud because they kept every team that we played in the 40s, if not less than that. So I think we had some more competition coming from the Phoenix, our preseason early schedule, playing all the tough Metro teams, going to Phoenix, playing teams out of state that just, they played us tough, and coming back from Phoenix, going straight to Hobbs and getting great competition there as well. And then have about a week off, and then you come back to the Metro and you see the path that you were given, and they're just great games all the way. And I just couldn't be more proud of how this team was probably, I want to say, relentless and playing together. And I think all of this travel and, a lot of stuff that we aren't able to do all these years past was just good for us. And I think we needed it at that time. We're not a perfect team by any means. And I think the team bonding helped the connection between all of my players and the coaches, and getting into the final for the Metro. Once La Cueva upset Hobbs and we upset Sandia, we knew we were going to keep the Metro, get the Metro trophy back to the Metro area. And that was something that both Coach Kogan and I were talking about and kind of chuckling about. But once it came back to Volcano, it was even more special, especially with our boys winning it right before us. And a couple weeks before that, our wrestling team, both boys and girls, won the Metro. So it's nice to have all 4 trophies here at school.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't realize that the wrestling was one, and we actually, I believe Game Vision did cover that, and we didn't have announcers, but we got it. It was pretty busy weekend for ProView and Game Vision and NFHS. I mean, a lot of games were basically covered last week. And then also we got to do Mike's games at Highlands and also Western. So
Yeah.
we were all over the place last week, and it was a great win to see. It was really great for me to see that you beat Sandia, and I didn't just. That's why you play the games. I mean, you can get caught up, and you look at your first loss, how Sandia came out and jumped on you, and then you go to that Phoenix turn, you lose 3 games. You're kind of like under the radar, and that's a different thing for you. Usually, you're the team to beat. So
Right.
Was that what you were talking about in the locker room with your players? Say, look, hey, nobody has any respect for us.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were flying under the radar, and that's something that my assistant coach, my brother Ross, and I talk about. And the record doesn't indicate it at all the team that we are, and I think people know that now. Early on when we played Sandia, I had just got Lily and Adriana back from volleyball and soccer. And what a lot of people don't understand is when you get multi-sport athletes like that, it takes them a good 4 to 6 weeks to get back into basketball shape. Even though they've played it all their lives, but there's still a time frame of getting them ready in the system all over again. And I think that's kind of the growing pains that we had at the beginning of the season. And now they're solid, they're playing, and we're gelling at the right time. And so it's all good.
Well, the words chemistry, I think, especially when you bring in players, they're coming off a volleyball season, then they got to get kind of refocused on, what you're about, what your program's about. And then I say it two different ways, is that there's practice shape, you got to get them in practice shape, and then you got to get them in game shape, okay? Because the game shape, is basically you're using a lot of mental, you got nerves, you got expectations, and, people watching and that. And then once you get into game shape, then you start playing basketball. And I guess, and then the biggest thing is, like you said, is chemistry is a good thing right now. And right now you're playing at a high level.
Yeah. The chemistry is huge. I know we've had our ups and downs this season, but the girls have, we've had team meetings and individual talks, and I think we're coming around now. And winning doesn't always solve everything, but it helps.
I tell you what, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back and I guess we got through, and we're. Deal. Hey, congratulations on the thing, and then congratulations on the rest of the deal, and thanks for coming on the Steve Davis Show.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And yes, it was a great weekend.
All right.